Do you have what it takes to become a political translator? Coming up. Hello and welcome back to the Freelanceverse. It's time for another specialized episode on the channel. Today I have three experts in the political translation sphere with me. I'm very excited for this one. It's a very specialized niche, I feel like, and I'm very happy that I have people on here today that recently started, as recent as this year actually, and people with several years of experience. Please let me know which specializations you would like to see next. Political, this one was actually recommended on last time's video, so I really do take these into account, so please let me know. Before we get into the video, thank you very much to MemoQ for sponsoring the specialized series. MemoQ Translator Pro, as you know by now, is a tool that helps translators to increase their productivity, to improve their translation workflow, and to meet tight deadlines. If you're interested in the product, make sure to click the first link in the description that leads directly to their landing page. Let's get on with the video. So welcome back everyone. We are back with a new episode of Specialized on the channel. Today we talk about political translation. I feel like I'm always surrounded by political translators here in Brussels, but now incidentally no one here in the panel is based in Brussels, but I'm very happy to have three experts on the channel. We have Emanuela, Bettina and Alex. I would say please introduce yourself so the viewers know who we have here today. Emanuela, would you like to start?
Hello everyone, I'm Emanuela. I'm from Italy. I'm a linguist, a translator and a reviewer, and I work with English, French and Italian. So I translate from English and French into Italian.
Bettina?
Hi, I'm Bettina. I live in England. I'm originally from Germany and I am a translator and coach, and I mostly work English to German, specializing in politics and the environment.
And we have Alex.
Yes, hi, I'm Alex. I'm based in Scotland, just outside of Edinburgh, and I translate from German and French into English, specialising in politics and technology.
Such a wonderful accent. I love it. Can you tell us a bit, Alex, how did you get into the broader political industry?
Yes, I've been a campaigner and a volunteer within politics, within various campaigns for almost a decade now. So I've got quite a bit of experience, working in the field and writing copy, especially, from internal minutes to social media posts and speeches. So when I recently started getting into translation, it felt like a sort of a natural step to sort of apply that somewhat experience and knowledge and try and incorporate that into my translation.
Yeah, exactly. You are representing kind of the latest addition to the industry, I would say. When did you start translating?
So I started over the summer, so July 2023, I'm very much a newbie to the industry, but start hoping to kind of get myself set up a bit.
It always adds a new nice perspective. I was talking with Alex and he said, I don't know if I have enough experience to be in the panel, but I like to have people with different backgrounds, different experience levels, which leads to Bettina, who has more experience in the field. Can you tell us a bit what areas are you involved in the political sphere?
I do quite a lot of so I've been doing political translations for about 17 years now, and a lot of different. So in those years, obviously, I've covered quite a lot of different topics or areas. But at the moment, mostly, so there's a lot of around activism and human rights, so political activism and also environmental activism as well. So before I've done stuff. EU politics, armed conflicts, international conventions, so very broad range of things. But at the moment, that's that's my main focus at the moment.
And can you tell us a bit about your background in like professionally, academically? Do you have a degree in translation or politics, or how does that work?
I've got a degree in translation, so I've been a translator. I've been freelancing for almost 24 years. So I graduated in the last century. So I'm feeling a little bit old. But yeah, I don't have a background in politics. I've just always been really, really interested in politics, and to be honest, it didn't really occur to me that that is something that you can specialize in as a translator. I don't know. And then I sort of got headhunted by, if you want to call it that. I bumped into someone I'd been to uni with, who was working for a government institution, and they were looking to expand their pool of translators, and he asked me, do you want to join? And I said, yeah. And I did a test, and that's how I started. But before, it was just something I was interested in and passionate about, but not something that I thought, okay, I can actually make that focus of my translation.
Interesting. Emanuela, I know that you are working also in the political area, but a bit in a different field, right? Can you tell us a bit what you do?
Yes. So I mostly work with NGOs on. So one of the NGOs I work with shares stories, have a website in which they share stories of people and organizations making a positive difference in the world and working in favor of peace and dialogue. And so I translate mostly news articles. I've also collaborated with humanitarian NGOs, translating, for example, fundraising campaigns, copy, or website copy. So that's the kind of texts I work with.
Yeah, because we were talking and you were kind of saying, I'm not sure if this is political, but it is. Like, I mean, current affairs news, it is definitely political, right? So can you tell us a bit about your clients? You mentioned NGOs. Do you also work with agencies or mainly with direct clients? What is your
mostly direct clients? Yes, because I have a background in international relations, and I have a network of people that I know who, after university, they went on to work in that field. And so at the beginning, much like what Bettina said, at the beginning of my translation career, I got contacted by people I knew, and that's how I started collaborating with this kind of clients.
Amazing. So you really relied on your network from the international relations studies. Did you do studies in that field?
Yes.
Yeah. So you don't have a translation degree?
I don't have a translation degree. My master's degree was in languages and international relations. So we studied international relations in 3 languages, basically.
Amazing. So how did you set up as a translator without this academic degree? Was it easy for you to start, or how did you manage to overcome this hurdle?
Good question. I asked myself this question up until this day. It happened. People started asking me for translations, and at the beginning I was a bit naive maybe, and I just did it. And then I think with experience, I got established, I think.
Okay, so it was like a fluid transition. Some jobs are starting to come in. Okay, I feel like that's the best way to describe it. Was the same for me. And then people ask you in the future, how did you do it? And you can't really answer, right? Because you were just in the right place at the right time. Alex, for you as someone who's starting out now, right? I don't know how that makes you feel hearing that, right? Because it just happened is not very good advice. How is it for you? Like, what kind of problems and issues do you encounter as establishing yourself in the industry?
So what's taking up quite a bit of my time just now is actually getting my name out there. I feel like, I think particularly in the political sphere, that's where I'm having sort of issues, trying to, meet new people, and, make them aware of what I can offer. So that's the main sort of challenge that I'm facing just now. I very much, I can understand that idea of, it just happens. That's happened with, with other areas as well. But
And in terms of the contents that you've already worked in, have you noticed any particular challenges in political contents compared to other things you're translating in?
I suppose being aware of any biases, from yourself as a translator, conscious and subconscious, and trying to sort of, you can't eliminate all biases, because, at the end of the day, we're human. But, I think sort of being aware of those biases helps to provide possibly a better translation.
Okay. Bettina, Alex mentioned biases. I can assume that in your experience, in your many years of working in the field, there have been some biases, some ethical considerations probably. How do you maintain this? I assume you have to be neutral when you translate, right? Whatever the topic is, whether you agree with it or not. And I feel like especially in political translation, you have to make an effort to stay neutral, right? How do you deal with this ethical consideration of neutrality and biases?
Well, I think like Alex says, it's just the main thing is to be aware of them, and also I think when you translate something and you start feeling a little bit uneasy, that's like a bit of a red flag, and then you have to really take a closer look at what you're doing and what's going on. And I think for me, it helps that I really only work for clients who are sort of in line with my values, so that helps. I have turned down stuff in the past that wasn't literally political stuff, but like transcreational stuff that to me felt a little bit like greenwashing. So I just turn it down basically. I think it's just mostly a matter of being aware. I think that's all you can do really. I have translated stuff where I thought, but for one of my political clients, but I know that they're critical and it's for information purposes. It's not always, and some quite unpleasant stuff as well.
Okay, Emanuela, for you, I feel like you're working in current affairs and news and articles, etc. So one thing for you that is top of mind is staying up to date, right? How do you manage to do that with the crazy political landscape that we live in?
Well, luckily nowadays we have many ways of staying up to date. My personal choice is listening to podcasts. I listen to podcasts in Italian about current affairs every day. And I also try to read as much as possible in all three of my languages. And that's also a good way to find parallel text, right? To figure out how the same piece of news is presented across the three different countries and cultures.
Nice. Yeah, definitely, because the same information technically can be framed in very different ways, right? You notice that across languages, that some languages are reporting very differently than others. And I guess you are working with quite, let's say, politically aligned languages, right? You work with French, English, and Italian, right? Yeah.
Sometimes the views I find online are more complementary than, as you say, aligned. Sorry. I was just sorry. I just thought maybe I've got an example. I think the focus is often quite different. Like if you compare German media and British media, the focus of what is actually reported on is very different, and that's interesting in itself. And then also, as Emanuela said, if you read about the same topic in you related stuff, and also stuff about Germany is quite reported on quite in a different way or in different depth often as well. It's interesting. And in British media, it's a very generalized thing. I don't want to, it's a very generalized statement, but just being very general, I think there's more a focus on the UK and possibly America and less on European countries.
So Alex, you starting out in the industry, you are kind of in the same boat as many of my of my viewers, right? What would you say to them when they think, oh yeah, political translation seems like something I'm very interested in, but maybe they don't have the necessary experience or the necessary background? What are some steps that you are currently taking to establish yourself? You mentioned networking, right? Is that the main focus?
Yeah, I mean, I think whatever area of translation you want to specialize in, networking is essential. I would say as well, though, if you maybe don't have much experience or much knowledge, that would, that forms a good foundation on which to translate political texts. Whether that's campaigning or studying politics, or again, as we've kind of mentioned, keeping up to date with current affairs. I think there's many ways to do that. It doesn't have to just be academic. But I would say, the better foundation you have, probably the more smoothly the transition into translation will be.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, with your campaigning background, you probably have so much knowledge already that other people are lacking in. One thing that we quickly discussed before we started recording with Bettina and Emanuela, I feel like I'm around many political translators here in Brussels that work in the Commission, in the NATO, whatever, and they are in very nicely paid high positions. And I feel like political translators, in my mind, always rank amongst the most highly paid language professionals. However, I don't know if that's true in your opinion, Bettina. What can you say about that? Is it a lucrative specialization to go into?
Well, I think the highly paid ones are probably the ones that work in-house, like in-house translators or interpreters as well in the EU, but maybe and also in ministries and things. I'm not sure it's the most lucrative. Like, I work for NGOs a lot quite as well, so.
Yeah, I guess within that area there is a lot of differences, right? If you work in the humanitarian political sector, it's probably there's less money in there than in campaigning, let's say. I guess once you start in this area, there is potential that you might end up in-house in a ministry as well, right? Is that something you would also consider, Emanuela, to ever work in-house, or is freelancing the way to go for you?
No, I would definitely consider working in-house, but I think I'd prefer to work with an organization that is more aligned with my values.
Yeah. Okay, nice. I always like to end my videos with pieces of advice. So I would say, Bettina, can you start and tell the viewers some piece of advice that you wish you knew before you started, maybe you learned along the way, that you can give to the viewers just starting out now?
Yeah, I think so. It's my piece of advice is not really around political translation, but translation in general. I think it's very hard to not be influenced by what other people think and what social media are pummeling us with and what you're told you should do. So to really think about what is something that I really want to do, that I'm passionate about, and not necessarily what am I good at, but find something that works for you, and also the way you do it should be a way that really works for you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Alex, what do you have to say?
At risk of copy, or at risk of stealing some of your advice, Adrian, I think I got it from one of your videos, and that was to just go for it. At some point, you have to sort of step out and try to make a start. I think that was probably one of the biggest pieces of advice. I think I felt very overwhelmed, as probably quite a lot of translators feel when they're first starting out. But I think it's okay to feel that, to acknowledge that, with the knowledge that at some point, as I've said, you just have to go for it, to make the dive. So.
And Emanuela, to finish off the video.
Yeah, I would say read a lot, practice, translate even for yourself at the beginning, and then try to build a network. I'd say if there's an organization that you're interested in, maybe even on a local scale, get involved in it and try to get in touch with the organizations you're interested in, and then one thing leads to another, and let them know you're a translator, and you probably end up finding work.
Exactly, and then it will just happen, right? That's how it does.
I mean, you try to cast as wide a net as possible, and then.
Exactly. Well, thank you very much to all of you. This was very insightful. I wish you all the best of luck, or best success. It's not luck, right? In your future careers. Of course, I will put all the links that you wish to put in the description down below. So people, if you're watching and you want to reach out to the panelists, please do so. It's always good to connect. We've heard networking again very often in this video. Please let me know in the comments which specialization you would like to see next. I think the next one is going to be SEO. So make sure if you have some people that you would like to see in the panel, let me know down below. And yeah, I see you next Monday with the next video. Thanks for watching, and I see you there. Bye-bye.